break. I rode about 10 miles. It wasn't too bad. Most of it had about a 4-foot, 5-foot shoulder, but there was little sections of it that was about a 1-foot shoulder, and the streets were kind of wet. So I took my time and made sure all my lights were going so that people could see me. And it's a nice ride. 10 miles so far this morning. It's pretty overcast, and looks like there's a pretty good chance of rain later. So if I start to feel it, I'll duck in and put my rain gear on. But had a nice night last night sleeping in the tent for the first time, and it started raining. I got about 4 hours sleep probably total during the whole night, but sometime during the night, probably around midnight, it started raining, and that woke me up. And then later on, it was kind of funny because I had my leg resting against the side of the tent, and I felt something moving on my leg. So I thought, I jumped thinking that something was in the tent, but I guess maybe a squirrel, or I don't know what it was. It was quick, so it must have been something small. So maybe a squirrel or something like that was trying to get out the rain himself, because it was right where the little porch of the tent was. So I just kind of smacked the side of the tent and never had any problem with it after that, but that kind of woke me up again, and just trying to get used to sleeping on the ground. I had the thermo rest sleeping mat, and I had an air mattress, which I don't know if I'm going to use both of those, because it was comfortable. It was like sleeping in a bed, especially when I let some of the air out of the mattress. But it takes a long time to get the air out. So if I do decide to go with the thermo rest and the air mattress, I might have to get one of those self-inflating, something that'll deflate really fast, because it has just a little small valves that deflate it, and it takes a while. It took me about 15 minutes, and so I wouldn't be able to use it if I was stealth camping, or if I wanted to get out real quick. This trip right now is not about distance. It's about the camping part of it, getting the gear right, seeing what I need and what I don't need. And so I'm not really worried about how far and how long it's taken me. It took me, yesterday I went about 30 miles, and it took about 4 hours. I took a small snack break for lunch, and so it took me about 4 hours to go 30 miles. And then today, I'm not exactly sure. I did 10, and I think it might wind up being about 25 before I get to Fontainebleau State Park. So I'll decide when I get there. I'm going to keep my eye on the weather. If it looks like it's really going to be bad, I might even stop at the state office and see what the weather's going to do. And if it's going to be really bad, I might just go ahead all the way to the house, because that's only about 14 miles further. But I'll see. If it's not raining, I can set the tent up. I'll do it. But I'll check in later. Okay, this is my campsite for tonight, January 20th, 2012. This is the Fontainebleau State Park in Mandeville, Louisiana. I kind of took the long way around. I went up to Covington and got back on the trace. So I did about 30 miles, but like I mentioned before, I'm really not worried too much about the amount of miles I'm doing. I'm just doing shakedown for camping, trying to get used to setting up the tent, seeing what works, what doesn't work, seeing if I actually need all the things that I have. Pretty much following the guidelines of some of the other biker campers that I watch on the YouTube and different sites, and look at their gear list and kind of modeled my gear list after theirs. So it's pretty tight. So there's a couple of things that I can probably do away with, and I did notice a few things that I will have to get to make things a little bit easier and a little bit quicker. But this is the campsite that I'm staying at for tonight. It rained right before I got here, and hopefully it won't rain anymore. But as long as my tent's up and I can get in it, I got my bike covered, so that'll do good
just
for me.
taking a few minutes to rest up a little bit. I have the tent all set up and just waiting around to be able to start cooking, and just gonna warm up some soup again like I did last night. I stopped and got something from Wendy's. I was looking for a Subway, but I couldn't find one, so they had a Wendy's there, so I stopped and got that, which is unusual. I usually don't eat fast food, so but I wanted to eat lunch then so that I could eat supper before it got dark. And cooking, I don't want to cook during the dark. And they told me today when I checked in that they haven't spotted the bear, but they've seen the tracks in the area. It's on the other side of the main highway, which is probably about a quarter of a mile from here. So just to be on the safe side, I set up my bear bag again. Getting better at that. It only took me 2 tries. Yesterday it took me about 5. So I got all that set up and just sitting around enjoying the cool breeze that's coming off of Lake Pontchartrain and watching all the other campers. There's a lot of campers here. You wouldn't expect them to be so many for the middle of January, the middle of winter. But I guess they got all of those hardcore travelers. And some of them look like they do it full time. Let me pan around and show you some of them. Like this one, let me zoom in. He's got the full setup, satellite TV, and he's got his wheels covered, so he's been there for a while. A couple of other bikers. One was, his name is Ross, binglebybingle.com, and he's been on the road now with his bike for since May, and he's done about 13,000 miles. So he's headed back to his home on the East Coast, and he doesn't do videos or pictures. He said he's not really good with audio-visual stuff, so he kind of sticks with blogging, which is good because you can learn a lot from somebody's writing. Nice as could be, we talked for about 10 minutes, and we both enjoyed a little bit of a break from the riding.